your Irontrader. This is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. And we'll take a look here at the old indexes. Now, the old NASDAQ and the S&P are green, but the Dow is coming off pretty hard over 300. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the EIA report for crude oil. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock market, ETF. If you like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we start off here with the old Bitcoin daily and a weekly chart. Now you can see here how strong that 50-day was. We went right into it, again, right into it today. Couldn't get through it, and now we made a lower low than what we have yesterday, okay? And a lower high. Now the key is support level is going to be right here. You need to hold that 92.80, that 8-day, and then we need to hold that 89.526 on a closing basis. So far, that what we are. Now the 8-day crossed over here very, very nicely, so that should provide some pretty good support level. Okay. Again, if we lose it, then we'll come right down here to this 88.720 level. We'll come down here 87.125. Venture down here 860 or 86.380 level. Then we have that 84.505 retest. We come down here at, what do we got there? Okay, let's see here. Yeah, we got 84.120, and then your big retest down here is at 87.50 level. Now, again, we have this W pattern. Okay, see how this W here? And there's the neckline sitting right here. And there's a neckline right there at 94.950. Now, again, we have to get above, first of all, that 50-day and above that neckline. Then we can start rallying right for that 200-day. That's going to be your big target at 104.50 level. Now, there is other targets above there. We get above that 50-day at 94.374. We're coming up here at 95.245. And we just venture right on up here nicely at 96.145. Look to the bottom of that candle, 97.905. We'll come down there at 99.250, and we venture right up here at that 104.95, and then we have 101.20 level, and then we come on to the bottom, 102.610, and then we have your big target, which is going to be that 104.50, and then we have a 100-day right above it at 104.333 level. Now, again, the W pattern so far is still working good, even though, yeah, okay, we had some red candles here. But again, you got to get above that 200-day or that 50-day in order to even have a chance at that 200-day, okay? On the downside, again, you got to hold that 8-day, you got to hold that 21-day. So right now, today was actually a really good trading situation, even though sometimes it doesn't look like it. BITI, that was a little short. The reason I went into that is because you can't get above the 50-day. That's everything. You can see here how strong it is. You got to get above that in order to go higher. If not, we take a short ski. So now that trade is done. So now I'll be watching those futures and see if we can hold that 8-day and that 21-day. If not, I'll jump right back into short scan, and maybe we can take that target back at that 84.505 retest. If not, we take another long, and we can venture right back up to that 50-day. Now, remember, all these ETFs, like I mentioned, is BITX or IBIT or BITI, these all trade 24 hours, okay? So you can get up 10 o'clock at night. You can do it at 10 o'clock. You can get up at 2 in the morning or 4 in the morning, and you can still trade all these 24 hours a day, which is awesome. Now, here in a weekly chat, we still have a nice, good uptrending. We have a topping tail here, but again, today's only Wednesday. We got to see how that all closes out. But you can see here we have this sideways consolidation, but we are holding that nice 100-day. If we lose it, your big target is going to be that 87.50 level. Now, again, if we lose that, we come down to the bottom there. You're looking at that 78.675. We'll come down there, 76.35, and then here's the big boy all the way down here on this candle right there at that 74.635 level, okay? So again, those would be your downside targets, and again, obviously after loss, we can head right towards that 200 SMA here. But again, right now, let's just see how this all plays out. But again, this is just a trade situation back and forth until we either close above that 50-day, head towards that 200-day, or we lose that 8-day and we lose that 21-day. Then it's a nice short ski all the way on down here to this 84.505 and possibly all the way down to 87.50 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold and silver. I took no trades in that because I only trade alongside GLD and I trade SLV. There's just nothing kind of a situation here out of it, you know what I'm saying, because we went right here to that 82, so I didn't take the short position. Probably would have been a really nice good short down, but I'm not really what you call a big gold or silver. I like natural gas, crude oil, gasoline, you know, and all the tech trades. That's all works very, very good for me. So remember, you can't trade everything. Okay, so just remember that. Now, here we have a nice good rally up here. I thought maybe we could just pounce up a little bit, but we got sideways action. So downside, you got to watch at 44.21. That's key. The 21-day, 43.80. We lose that. We come down to the bottom here. 42.84, and then we have a retest down there at 42.17, which is basically your 50 SMA here, and then the retest rate below that at 41.97. Now, upside, today we made a high of 45.12. Yesterday's high was 45.08. So we got a little bit above that. This is what your target is looking at, is 45.30 level. Okay, that's your next upside. Then we can go 45.55 and then 45.84. You crack that, and then we can go 46 and work your way up to that 5,000 mark. Remember, always one level at a time. Never worry about saying, hey, oh, this is going there. Yeah, it very might be, but again, just go one level at a time, because you can see here where this level right there, it stopped it cold, okay? So that's what you got to see. So right there today, again, we had that 45.12. If you look at the top of this candle here, just look right up here, look where it says C, that's the closing, 45.15. See, it couldn't even get through that, okay? So always look to the left of the chart, because where it's been is usually where it's going, okay? Just that simple. Now, we got to way overbought here, but you can see how this is rolling over kind of a situation here. It's not really looking anything that great. The green never crossed over your red. So again, just be very, very careful here. For me, I'm just going to be a little bit patient to see if we can start getting above that this level right here, this 45.30. If we can, then I'll take a trade GLD, at least to that 45.84. If we get above that, you can always add to the position. Now, just remember, you can always buy either on support and take it up higher, or you can buy on strength and take it up higher. Okay, silver. Well, this was a really, really good trading system. And we're holding that 8-day very, very nicely. You can see yesterday came down, held the 8-day. Today we're going to come right down to the 8-day. But you notice that today's high was 82.58. Right here we had 82.67. Okay, so you got to take the trade off. Okay, so if you're long, take the trade off, because then you can always jump back into it. Takes me like, I don't know, less than 15 seconds. I have everything all set up. And boom, just click it on, and boom, you're right back into the trade again if we can get above that 82.67. But if you can't, then you just got to be out of the trade, because right now we have a double top, 82.67 and then 82.58. We have a double top situation going. However, we are holding that 8-day. So on the downside, watch that 8-day, very, very key. Okay, 75.79. Then we look at the top of that candle there, 74.21. We look at the bottom there, 72.50. We'll come down there, 70.51, and then we come down at that 69.25. But this is really what you're looking for here, this 69.24 level. That's going to be very, very crucial if we start losing that 8-day. But the uptrend is still very, very much intact. Now, this here is not looking really anything that great, because it rallied up here, but you notice that it couldn't really get up to that high. The green is still over your red, shows good momentum to the upside. So again, be very, very patient. For me, I'm going to see if it holds this 8-day. I'm going to watch those futures, then maybe take a trade back up again. Or if we close above that 82.67, I buy in strength. It would take it up to 85. All righty, let's take a look at the old crude ski here. All righty, here we have crude oil. You can see a total downtrending chart, big picture and short-term picture. Okay, it's just downtrending. Okay, now the big news is here, Venezuela. Okay, we're going to get. T-Man says we can get up to 50 million barrels. Okay, the problem with the 50 million barrels is this: two things. First of all, that money's going to go into a bank, and then it'll feed back to the Venezuelan people, which it should. Okay, that's not an issue. The problem is, and now, I mean, if you're a long trader, if you're going to be putting another 50 million barrels on the market, okay, what's going to happen to prices? Okay, prices are going to go down. Okay, right now you have a glut, and now you're going to be adding to that glut situation. Another thing you have to always look at, you're not just going to walk in Venezuela, turn on a switch and say, okay, now I got my 50 million barrels, I'll put it on the tanker and I'm driving off. It doesn't work like that. You're talking years and years. You don't have, right now you're only pumping 900,000 barrels a day. Okay, so how long is it going to take you? You're not even doing 1 million barrels a day. So how long is it going to take you to do 50 million barrels? Okay, so plus remember, the regime, you knock the head guy out, but the regime is still there. They're not going to just let you walk in and do whatever you want to do. It's not going to work like that, okay? So remember, patience on anything like that, all that is just headline news, and I get it. I understand. You want to get rid of all the drug boats, and I can see that, okay? You don't need that. We don't need that crap here in the United States. But as far as the oil market goes, you're in a complete downtrending situation. And unless you get some kind of a catalyst to push it up, you got a glut right now in the old crude oil. Okay, now you look at the EIA report, which is posted at the end of this video. You had a big build in gasoline. You got to remember, what are you using that oil for? You had a build in gasoline of over 7 million barrels. You had a build in distillates. You had a build in Cushing. You have to understand what you're doing. So as the price comes down, then it might stabilize a little bit better, for the simple reason is now the U.S. is filling up the SPR at these prices, which is a good thing, which will kind of like stabilize it up. But again, I just don't see where you're going to be ripping up to $100 here on any kind of a situation. So just trade the charts both directions, and that's how you make money. Now, I got the short going here, SCO, and it's working out very, very nicely, okay? So right now you can see here how the 8-day rolled over, 21 days rolling over, and we put another lower low. So today we hit this low of 55.76. We're watching the bottom of that candle right there, 55.61, okay? So that's what we're looking at, okay? So that was your support level. Your next target is going to be right over here. Is going to be right there. It's going to be very, very key. Is going to be that 55.12 level. If we lose that, then you got this 54.98. You lose that, you're going to go 53, 50, 47. You come all the way down to 43. There's support. This RSI, you got 42. This is nowhere near oversold. This has a long way they can go on down. This here, the same way. You can go all the way on down, okay? So just remember, so you're going to have a catalyst. Now, the upside, 47.45, there's your 21-day, and there's your 8-day. Sitting all right there, okay? That's going to be very, very strong. But the key is right here is this 50-day. We're not getting above it. You're not getting above it. You're not going higher. Just that simple. If you can, then we got targets up there at the 100-day and at the 200-day. But look how downtrending everything is. And when this rolls over, we lose that 54.98 on a closing basis. It's going to go lower, and it's going to go lower real quick. So just always remember that, okay? So right now, I got the short on, and we'll see how the futures open there today. But a lot of times, I can hold the short with the SCO, and I can also scalp that long UCO at the same time until we start getting above that 50-day where you can start notching this up. But right now, this is a downtrending situation. All right, let's take a look here now at natural gas. All right, here we have natural gas. Now, remember, Venezuela has also a huge supply of natural gas, okay? The problem is the distribution, okay? Yeah, you know, it takes a long time here to put that into liquefied natural gas. You got to get it over here, look at it. So it's a lot of kind of a situation, and you're not really set up. The U.S. here, which I don't understand, is why he did. I remember old Boone Pickens, he was the big oil guy. He was having stuff in Vegas and all these other states there where he was running buses and all this kind of stuff and city equipment and everything on natural gas and warehouses. I don't understand why you just don't do it. We're just burning it off. So when you drive past these oil wells, you see the flaring. That's natural gas being burned off. If you don't burn it off, you're going to blow up the well. Okay, it's just that simple. But there's no infrastructure for it that says, okay, yeah, we have it to the houses and everything, but you don't have any infrastructure that says, hey, I'm going to make semis out of natural gas. I'm just going to stop it. I'm going to fill up with that. It doesn't. There's nothing like that. Okay, it's about like what you have with EVs. Okay, there isn't enough. There's no infrastructure to actually do that. Okay, so always remember that kind of a situation. But we had a nice little rally today, and actually I scalped the UNG today, and that was a really good trade. Now I'm all out of the trade for a simple reason. It went into the 200-day. I pulled it right off because no matter, well, if it went up, I can always buy it back again. But your next resistance is so right there at the 100. It gets above that, you got the 376. That's your 8-day. Then we have the 21-day, and then we have their 50-day. So you got a lot of resistance that says this isn't going to just keep blowing right through all of that. That's not just how it works, okay? So actually, when those futures open here, this 8-day is going to be lower. You'll be towards that 100-day, if not over it. This 21-day is going to be lower. So just remember, you got a lot of resistance here. So this is basically just a trade. So what you're watching on the downside is watching yesterday's low at that 332. If that is lost, we'll come right down here to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 320, and then we come down here to the gap at 313, and then we come down here to 289. We start losing that. We come down here, 302, and then 289. Then we come all the way down here to this 277, and we come all the way to the bottom there at 262. But I like to always point out this gap and fill, because if we lose that level right there, there we have it. You're going to go right to that gap at 3.13 and that 302 right there at the fill. Gap in the fill, just like we went here, okay? Just like we went here. See how this is? We gapped up, went right up, and then we came down and we filled that gap. Okay, so always remember, look at the gaps, look at the fills. That's very good support and resistance levels. The upside, you got to get above that 356. That's just reality. And then the next level, you're going to be hit right hard with 367. And then we're going to be hit hard with 376. And then we're going to be hit out with 406 level. Okay. Now, EIA report will be out tomorrow at 10:30. Now, it's been a market mover, at least a trader's market mover, where you can get in, get out of that thing real quick. And that's what I always look for. But right now, you got to get above that 356, that 200-day. If you can't, you're not going higher kind of situation. So right now, we got a little consolidation. So we'll see how that shakes out. Now, this is not overbought or oversold. The green is still below your red. So right now, you got a really ass ugly looking chart here. It's basically just a trader's chart. Alrighty, let's take a look here at the indexes. Alrighty, here we have the Dow. I can see the Dow here ripping up nicely yesterday, and then today we made a new high, 49,621. Okay, now one red candle. Remember, one day does not make a trade. Okay, that's all it is just a trade. It does not make a market. So watch on the downside here, 49,129, but really watch yesterday's low. That is going to be that 48,923. And then we have your 8-day right there at 48,699. We have your 21-day, we have your 50-day, we have your 100-day, and then we have your retest all the way down here at 45,728 level. Okay, but we've had a really, really good run up. But again, this is only one day. I think eventually you're going to hit that 50,000 mark, and I think that's exactly what they're looking for. Now, we came up here. We didn't get to an oversold. Now we pull them back a little bit here. The green is still over your red. So it's still very, very good momentum here on the old Dow. Okay. Now, yesterday was a really good trade. Actually, the last few days here with the UDow, that's an easy way to trade the old Dow. Okay. Now, on the S&P. You can see here, we topping tail. We got 69.65. I'm looking for that 7,000. Eventually, I think we'll hit it. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, 69.65, and we'll see what happens. Now, popped up and dropped down. So right now, next on the downside, 69.03. The 21-day, 68.66. The 50-day. Then we have your retest down here at 67.20, and then we have the 100 SMA here. Then we lose all that and come right here at the big retest all the way down here at that 65.21. Okay, so right now, it's not really just still very, very bullish, low, higher low, higher low. You know, it's just one day. That's all this is. So let's just see how this all shakes out. Now, NASDAQ, okay, this is my favorite trade. Now, how I may trade this one is easily is with TQQQs, okay? Now you're up over 1% there, but it's got everything in it. Google, NVIDIA, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Palantir, Netflix, Tesla, Costco, you name it, everything is right in this. And it's one easy, like a nonstop, one-stop shopping kind of situation. Because, okay, so you look at Meta today. Well, you're down $9, okay? You look at Palantir, you're up $5. Okay, you look at Amazon, you're up there. You look at Apple, you're down 32 cents. But, TQQ, you're still up, a buck, 1.2% there today. So it's like a nice, good basket. Now you can see where we popped right up here, but so far we couldn't close above that 23,704. If you do, then we're going to look to the bottom of the candle because that's the gap fill, 23,764, and then we shoot for that 24,19. We crack that, we're going to head towards that 25,000 mark. Now downside, very, very easy. Right there is the 8-day, 23,445. We have your 21-day sitting at 23,376, and then we have your 50-day 23,268. Then we come right down here, 23,119 level. Then we can hit that 100-day, and then eventually we can venture all the way down here to this level right there. But again, right now we still have a good, nice uptrending chart situation going here. See, uptrending right there. See, this is still uptrending. This is still uptrending until it reverses and we downtrend that situation. Right now, you got to give it the benefit of the doubt here. So right now, just watch that key level, that 23,704. You got to close above it. Then we can go to the gap fill, and then we can hit that 24,19 retest, and then see what happens when you get there. Do we break through? Do we double top? We come down? This is like a double top right there. This is what I always talk about on the retest. Okay, so when you hit this and it comes down, and then we have to see what the reaction is. Okay, went on up here and it couldn't get through. Came on down, went up here, popped above. So far, it couldn't get through. Okay, so you got to get through that level right there, that 23,704. Otherwise, you're not going there. It's just that simple. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's Thursday already. This is a fast week for some reason. And remember, the EIA report on natural gas will be out tomorrow at 10:30, and there could be some good possible trades here. But remember, don't have no opinion. Just trade these charts and make money in both directions. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.